Good afternoon, everyone. I've got this very bright light right in my eyes, so I'm not going to try to read my stuff here without making a mistake. But I want to welcome you to the inaugural in-person Jean and Joel, class of 74 leader, Jean and Joel Leider, class of 74, chamber music series, the first of many to come. We first tried to do this in April 2020. And if you think back to April 2020, you remember what we were doing. We were not doing concerts. That first concert we did online, and it opened up music from Rensselaer to really the whole world. My name is Marty Simoni. I'm the acting provost at Rensselaer, and it's with great pride that we share our musical efforts with you today. I also welcome Dr. Marty Schmidt, president of Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, and his wife Lynn to this special event. So I want to say a little bit about chamber music. Chamber music is an especially challenging genre of musical performance. Each member of the ensemble is very exposed and needs to listen carefully with both specificity and intent. They need to hear when they're the leader in the music and when it's time for them to play a supporting role. Performing chamber music is really the essence of what it means to be a leader. When is it important to listen, and when is it important to come forward and act? Chamber music, in the words of Jose Anton Abreu, who founded the El Sistema program in Venezuela, says, chamber music is the ideal democracy. In this case, where each student has an essential role to play and works collaboratively and constructively to create something that is greater than the sum of its parts. This training translates directly into our students' ability to be an effective leader and agent of change in their chosen discipline, whether it's in the arts or whether it's in the sciences, or increasingly both. This active chamber music performance is an analogy to Dr. Schmidt's listening and learning tours. Over several months, he listened deeply and learned about our challenges and aspirations. This listening is now blossoming into our next strategic plan entitled Rensselaer Forward. Our way forward is through listening. I'd like to thank in particular Professors Robert Whalen and Chrissy Nanu for their tireless devotion in coaching these students, and I can tell you that it happens at all hours of the day and night. For Greg Palmer, who's in the back, who is audio and video recording this concert, all from the School of Humanities, Arts, and Social Sciences. I'd also like to thank the Institute Advancement staff who really worked hard to make this event possible. And so with that, here's our musical offering. If that doesn't get you dancing, I don't know what will. That was awesome. Thank you. I'd like to take a minute to just recognize all the students who performed this afternoon. If you could please stand, we'll give you another round of ovation. I can't tell you, there is such a special bond that comes from making music together, and these will be some of the most cherished moments of my life, I'm sure. I also want to recognize the faculty again, all the work that they've done, even down to the stage changes. Thanks to the faculty, Robert Whalen and Chrissy Nanu. And none of this would be possible if it weren't for the extraordinary generosity of Jean and Joel Leider. So thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. Please stand. Okay, now comes the moment you've been waiting for, the reception. There will be an open bar. You can soft drinks, et cetera, et cetera. The food will be brought out into the stations here at the side, so you don't even need to leave the room. But it'll take a few minutes to get it set up. So please make yourself comfortable, find your way back to the bar, and looking forward to speaking with you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. If I could just have your attention for a moment. My name is Robert Whalen, and I am lecturer in music and conducting at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. And it is my absolute pleasure to be with you all today. Thank you so much for coming out in spite of the weather and for supporting students involved with music at Rensselaer. It is such a joy to be able to spend time in the classroom with these wonderful students and to see the community that they build throughout the year and the joy and excellence that they bring to their music making. And it's my pleasure now to introduce Jean and Joel Leider of the class of 1974. Jean and Joel have philanthropically supported RPI for more than 40 years with their time, talent, and treasure, and are members of the RPI New England Executive Council and School of Humanities, Arts, and Social Sciences Leadership Council. They have established the Jean and Joel Leider Class of 74 music series with their generosity through their love of the arts, the event that brings us together today. Please welcome Jean and Joel Leider. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Whalen. Thank you. Oh, the light's right in my eyes here. All right.
Come over here.
I can see people. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. This really means a lot to us to see all of you come out here for this wonderful event. And I'd like to thank Dr. Simoni and Dr. Whalen and the students for the amazing performance. Who thought it was a good performance? Give it up. Thanks to Dr. Schmidt and his wife, Lynn, and the Board of Trustees, and the leadership and the appreciation and recognition of the importance of the arts is evident by today's performance. As a computer science major and my decades of personal experience with engineers and technical customers, I recognize the value and critical role that music plays in engineering and science. And we're so proud that my alma mater continues to honor this talent as we did today.
I too want to say it means a lot to Joel and me to be here in person with you. We supported this establishment series with the primary goal of sharing the accomplishments and great work of student performers and the importance of the School of Humanities and Social Sciences as a part of RPI. The first concert of the series, as Dr. Simoni had said, was held virtually in 2021 due to the pandemic. So today, is even more special to us to be able to be here with you and share in person the event of the series. Thank you for being with us, and now it's our pleasure to introduce Miss Maya Johnson of the class of 2023. Maya, please come to the stage.
Thank you, Joel and Jean, and hello, everyone. I'm Maya. I'm originally from near Ithaca, New York, and now I'm a senior biomedical engineer at Rensselaer and also a violinist here. I wanted to share with you a little bit about how music shaped my life and education and why it's so important that we keep having that at RPI. Music is why I became a biomedical engineer. It's what made me aware of the amazingly complex machines that are our bodies. When I was 6, my dad asked me if I wanted to learn an instrument. I definitely did, but I couldn't think what it would be. I thought for a while, and then I decided on the instrument that I was going to play for the rest of my life, the harmonica. My dad told me that there weren't very many harmonica teachers in our area, so he told me to pick something else. And I was indecisive for a while, so finally he gave me a choice, violin or piano. Violin, I thought. I don't know if I could do that. I mean, all the strings seem so close together. I don't know how you would just play on one of them at a time. But he told me that plenty of people figured out how to do it, and I'd be just fine. And here I am. My violin teacher, Linda Case, encouraged me and her other students to be very aware of the ways that our bodies worked and how that affected our playing. She's one of those amazing people who can just tell what's going on under your skin. She would look at me or listen to me playing, and she would say, "Is it the hip or the knee?" And sure enough, I would realize that I was holding tension in my right leg. She showed me diagrams of the muscles of the human body, and she taught us a technique called Feldenkrais, which is a type of mindful movement that lets you have some awareness of your body. And this is how I became fascinated with the human body, and by the concept of re-engineering that in a way that aids human life. As I got into high school, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I was homeschooled at the time, and my parents let me choose what I did for my education. So when I wanted to learn more, I enrolled myself in online courses in introductory human physiology and principles of biochemistry. I got a copy of Physics of the Human Body by Richard McCall and started to scribble notes with connections to my classes. And as I kept playing music, I kept trying to figure out the physics and the mechanics of how each of those motions was working. Engineering wasn't the only thing determining my choice of college. I had some other requirements, and the most important among them was that I still had the chance to play music. Before applying to RPI, I made sure that there were ensembles and music classes available for all majors. I went on the Haas website and saw some of the recordings of orchestra performances. I was happy to see that not only were there music opportunities at RPI, but they had put an engineer's spin on it, adding science and technology to stay on the forefront of experimental music, acoustics, and recording. Since coming to RPI, I've played in ensembles every semester that I've been on campus. Even during the pandemic, I participated in the Fusion Ensemble, which was a wonderful collaboration between orchestra, choir, chamber music, and jazz, using a combination of synchronous and asynchronous performance to make the best of social distancing and to incorporate those performers who couldn't be on campus with us. Since then, I've played every semester of orchestra and chamber music that I could. Registering for both has been my first assumption every semester. Music while in the middle of an engineering major is my mental health time, my chance to be fully in the moment without stressing about deadlines, my chance to be expressive without using words. The friends that I've made in the music community are a special connection that I would not have had otherwise. There has not been a semester on campus that I haven't played chamber music with Frank Peters. Hearing his beautiful tone on cello always brightens my week. I've also had the pleasure of playing music with Mary Simoni almost as often. At few schools, but I've had the opportunity to play with such a great mentor, as well as the Dean of Humanities and acting provost. I've greatly appreciated her mentorship. My experiences are also thanks to Chris Fisher-Lockhead, Tamara Dworetz, Chrissy Nanu, and Robert Whalen for all of their guidance. Thank you. And of course, thanks to those of you who support music at RPI. I may be graduating soon, but I hope that my friends who you have seen perform today can continue to have wonderful music opportunities while they are at RPI. I wish them happy memories, everything they need to grow as musicians and students, and hopefully some absolutely amazing violists and double reed players to work with. Where are they at? And now, thank you guys so much for being here. I would like to introduce the 19th President of Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, Dr. Marty Schmidt of the class of 1981.
Well, I knew when I was asked to speak here that the performance would be a tough act to follow. I hadn't anticipated I'd have to follow Maya. So thanks for those wonderful remarks. And welcome, everybody. I think I could scratch the line about sunny spring day, but I will say that delighted to be back in Boston and really appreciate everybody being here to enjoy this amazing performance. A few acknowledgments. First of all, I don't think we can acknowledge enough both Jean and Joel Leider for their contributions from the class. Providing resources to provide on campus a full experience for those students that want to pursue not just their academic degree, but their other passions, in this case music, is so important. And so that philanthropy is amazing. And then thanks, of course, to Dr. Whalen, Maya I already spoke to, and a special shout out, of course, to Mary Simoni. She's done an amazing job. I have to tell you that on January 1st, she agreed to take over as provost. Having done that job at another institution for 8 years, it's my humble opinion that that's the hardest job at the university. We call her an acting provost, but I can tell you she's a very good actor. Does an amazing job in how she's able to balance all of those responsibilities and help create the experience we had today. Amazing. We're also joined by some of the leadership of RPI. Robert Hull is here, our Vice President for Research. There's Robert back there. In addition to Robert, Joel Kincart is our Associate Vice President for Development and Fundraising. Joel, you're back there. And then a lot of the logistics of getting us all here and making this event happen lands on the shoulders of Joel's colleagues in the Institute Advancement Office who really make things work. And if the advancement folks can simply raise your hand just so that everyone knows where you are. They're generally in the back making sure things are working or operating the camera. So thanks for that. I've also got family here. Maybe I'll start with Paul DiCrescente, class of '81. Paul and I were on Bray Hall together, first floor of our freshman year. Paul had the wisdom to marry Susan Wall, now Susan DiCrescente. Sue is here along with Paul. And Sue happens to, if you look at Sue and you know Lynn, you may recognize that Sue and Lynn are identical twin sisters. And so, of course, we're also joined by my lovely wife, Lynn. Thank you all for being here. Okay, so it's been about 10 months since I started this job, and I said to someone earlier today that there's not a day that I wake up that I don't feel thrilled, blessed, and excited to be doing this job. I've spent a lot of time listening and being on presidential tour, meeting with many alumni, and I've learned so much about RPI and refamiliarized myself with RPI. But I can tell you what I've learned is that people that are at RPI have a tremendous passion for the institution, tremendous passion, both the students, staff, faculty. I can also tell you, particularly for you alums, that it's still a very challenging educational experience. but a transformative one as reported by everyone I've met. We've started a strategic plan for the university. It's based on 4 themes in education, research, translation, and regional engagement, coupled to what I call a thread, which is talking about how do we make sure that Rensselaer is the most accessible, inclusive, and welcoming environment, and maintaining the operational excellence of the university. We call this strategic plan Rensselaer Forward, and I hope that we'll be releasing that plan in the coming, towards the end of this calendar year. It's important that we release that plan at the end of this calendar year in my mind, because next year we have a birthday to celebrate. Next year, RPI will be 200 years old. Rensselaer's charter was signed November 5th, 1824. That makes as an institution, Rensselaer was established about 37 years before the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and was designed in an era to create a polytechnic institute. And our bicentennial, I've told my board, a bicentennial presents us with a once in a 200-year opportunity to celebrate RPI. And I should have, as I mentioned the board, I realized I failed to call out Kate Murtaugh, who's also with us. Kate, I know you're around here. There you are. Kate's on the board of trustees, so she's my boss. If you can talk to her if you have concerns about what I'm doing. But the 200th birthday represents an amazing opportunity for us to both celebrate our history and our accomplishments, and going back to those early graduates of Rensselaer who designed and built the Brooklyn Bridge, who designed and created the Panama Canal, who actually designed and created Fenway Park. More recent graduates have started an electric vehicle company called Rivian. That is the CEO and founder, R.J. Scaringe. And if we want to celebrate more recent graduates, we can look to none other than 1997 graduate Reed Weissman, who actually, on our birth month, in November 2024, if the launch schedule holds, Reed will be the first person, along with 3 other astronauts, to circle the moon since Apollo 17. Reed will be serving as mission commander for Artemis II, the NASA mission to the moon. Yeah. So we have so many wonderful things to celebrate, and we also have the opportunity to tell the world about our amazing accomplishments, but also the very bright future that our beloved alma mater has. Now, I want to close by saying that, first of all, a tremendous thanks to the students. So Monday begins the last week of classes in the spring semester. Now, those of you who perhaps with a little bit of PTSD remember your time in college will remember that last weekend before the last week of classes is when you're frantically finishing lab reports, hurriedly completing project assignments in classes, and preparing for final exams. Well, I think we can all agree that for this final exam, the students achieved a perfect score. So congratulations on that. And it's so impressive. It's so impressive that they can do all these things at this moment in time, which is probably the most challenging week in the academic semester. And if you're from Boston, or if you lived in Boston for 41 years like me, I can translate most challenging into wicked hard. So the last thing I want to say is that, and Mary mentioned it in her opening remarks, the importance of listening in the music performances that you saw by the performers themselves. And as a tribute to that, there's a small gift for each of you that illustrates the importance of deep listening by one of our former distinguished research professors of music, Pauline Oliveros. So I encourage you to pick up one of those gifts on your way out to learn more about deep listening. So with that, thank you all for being here. Thank you everyone who participated in making this such a wonderful event. We look forward to doing this again, but in the meantime, please enjoy your evening. Thank you.
Thank you.